Yeah, welcome back, aviators. This is the NAMC MIG-3B. I just finished building this today, and I want to give you a little walk around and some comments about the build. The build wasn't too terrible. The only real question I had when building would be the shape of the nacelles. If you look, it kind of comes down to a point right here and right here. I didn't know if they were supposed to be flat or not, and I ended up adding a little bit of a brace in here. I built with Dollar Tree foam board, ready board, from the dollar store, obviously. Everything went pretty well. The only problem I had, the big problem, was my servos, connecting them to the back. I ended up doing the ailerons and the elevons in the same area, and when they stick up, they were going to run into each other, so I had to put the elevon servo on the bottom of the fuselage. I'm not sure how that's going to work. I've never done it before, but it is what it is. And I also added the plate in the back with a center support. You can see right down there. With the foam board, it was pretty flimsy in the back, and I had a lot of flex in between. And when I pushed down on the deck plate back here, the two vertical stabilizers would flex in. Now there's almost no flex. And I just hot glued it in, another piece, just made it all on my own. And I used Blenderm tape on the hinges. And I have the toothpick flossing sticks for my control horns. I do have one support in the vertical stabilizer and one on the front, and I'll keep it from flexing too much. Dollar Tree flexes pretty bad. I got a 3mm carbon square, 3mm carbon tube square on both sides, just as the plans said. One other thing I did is I added a little foam piece right inside the battery tray here, and that's to support my receiver. I like to keep my receivers flat along the plane of the aircraft, and if I was smart, I would have done it earlier in the build, and I would have had it level with the wing plate. That way I can use the stabilization on it, but I wasn't able to do that. And I also like having really clean wiring in the back with the servos. I'm using 6 servos. They're all 9-gram servos. Inside the battery compartment is the Turnigy 1500, a 30 amp Plush ESC. Actually, it's 40 amp. And I'm using the Hitec 55s for the rudders. Just happens to be, I have a couple different brands of servos, so I always try to match up brand for brand. And pretty straightforward build. Custom paint job, of course. Nothing special. Alright, so the elevon and aileron mix is as such. I have low rate set up for 15 degrees, and then high rate set up for 30 degrees. I noticed that most planes are pretty good with those two numbers, 15 and 30 degrees. Some planes need more, some planes need less. And same with the elevon. I have 15 degrees for low rate and 30 degrees for high rates. And I do have the rudders also set up for 15 degrees each direction. I'm sure that'll be way too much, but in high alpha, slow speeds, the more I have, the better off it is. And I also set up flaps on this guy. So if you look here, I've got some down, it's 15 degrees, and up is also 15 degrees. And that's on a single switch. And I also have a general profile switch, which will switch it back to ailerons only and elevator only. Sometimes I like, if I'm flying high speed, to do something like that, but not such a big deal. I'm using the Turnigy 2826-6 200 kV motor and a Lemon RC receiver, and total weight 13 3/4 ounces or 389 grams. That's without batteries. You guys have a great day. Keep flying.